Hello, everybody. It's been a while since I posted one of these episodes, but still talking about skiing here. I had the pleasure to check another item on my list, not necessarily my bucket list, but my long list that really doesn't fit in a bucket, which is going down the Streif. What is the Streif? So to give you guys some idea, and please, I do recommend you, if you're interested, of course, as always, go search. I'll give you some hints where to go, but basically, it is the most famous downhill ski racing in the world. Typically, it takes place towards the end of January, weather permitting, of course, in Kitzbühel, the very cute town of Kitzbühel in Austria. It's part of the World Championship, the Alpine Ski Racing Championship. Only men compete in the Streif, in this run. I don't know why, really. No reason. Recently, Lindsey Vonn did it actually this year, a night run, which is pretty cool, sponsored by Red Bull, I believe. Again, you can find it on social media. Very cool. But the point is, it's called the Streif, right? It is an extremely technical downhill run. It's about 2 miles long. That's a 3.3 kilometers. And insanely steep. So and I'll break it down in sort of the 4 big sections of it, although there are more, and how to do it. But it was last week. It has been 4 years in the making, because the logistics to actually get there are not complicated, but require some work, especially if you're not in Europe, like I'm not. So here's what I did. It started about 4 years ago. My daughter, and I were watching this documentary called Streif, Hell of a Ride. Very cool, very well done, and made by Red Bull Productions. You can find it, I think, many streaming platforms out there. And you can find it for free, I believe, in the Red Bull app to watch it. Super cool. Tells the story of the Streif, right, or the Honeycomb race weekend, where when like Kitzbühel, the town, kind of stops for a week and it's parties everywhere. It's really a very cool event. And it tells like it's nearly 100 years old now when they first started racing that. Again, the mountain itself is awesome. So there's plenty of skiing in that region. Of course, it's the Alps, it's the Austrian Alps. So you have a lot of great runs and opportunities to do much more than just coming down Streif. But that was my main intent. So we, in terms of logistics, if you are willing to do it, I recommend, and we try many different, things and study options. Flying to Germany, Munich airport is the best approach, and then it's about an hour and a half drive to Kitzbühel. So kind of easy to get there. Once you get there, you can go through the usual motions of getting, lift tickets. We stay there, as a matter of fact, for a week. As another tip for you guys, based on our extensive research, Kitzbühel is a bit expensive. But there are options around Kitzbühel. We stayed in Westendorf at 70% of the cost that would have been staying in Kitzbühel, and it's just a 15-minute drive over there. And then you have all the other mountains that you can ski around that area, which is pretty cool. So Westendorf is a very cool option. I recommend if you want to save a few bucks instead of staying in Kitzbühel, but Kitzbühel is amazing as well. So that's how you get there, right? And where you stay. Then you have to figure out the run itself, because they have the race again towards the end of January every year. And right before it's closed, right? They close those trails because they need to prep for the race itself. So I recommend, if you want to give it a try and go down that route, Streif, that you do it after the race, when they will still leave it open for amateurs and mortals like me to actually give it a try. So during the month of February is pretty much, I think, the best option to do it. Otherwise, it gets a little bit too warm, and the conditions are just not there for skiing, right? So February is the way to go after the race. Once again, you've done that, so you're there, right? How do you find it? It's not a one trail that you would find on the ski map for Kitzbühel. You would have to actually figure out the Streif. So what they have is, there's a trail called, if I translate it, like Family Streif, which goes takes part of the Streif, the easiest ones, but most of the toughest ones are sort of running, and it runs in the parallel, so it's not as steep, so it's much more manageable. It will be equivalent to pretty much a blue to a black diamond in the US and Canada sort of ski classifications, but it's not super difficult. So you can do that. Of course, if you have the skills, or you can actually try the actual Streif route, which is slightly different. So keep in mind, and again, it's not kind of easy to just spot it from looking at the map. So I did a little bit of research. So I'll summarize it right here for you guys. It's you take the Honeycomb gondola, and you can see it. Honeycomb is the name of the weekend, right, race, and it's the name of the mountain. So you take that gondola up. There's a little magic carpet to the actual start, and you will find the start gate, which is a building. There is actually a cool place on the side that people who actually don't go down that start. The entrance of the trail can watch it and just look down and see, oh my God, right, this is really steep. So you can, like my wife, so she went down, oh, this is what it is. Okay, I'm out of here. But then you have to your left, right, you have the opening where you can actually start and go down. So you follow 21A, that's the route, right? The trail it's 21 is the family one that has pieces of the actual real Streif run, but 21A is the actual start if you look on the map, and then you have to follow 21B right in the bottom, and then you have the last part of it, which is really not clear until you get there, which is towards the final section of the Streif near the bottom, right near the finish line. You will have something which is it's 221, right, trail 21. But it's called a ski tour according to the European classification for trails, and it's orange diamond, right? That with a 21, and that's kind of the last one. So that's sort of what you have to do. Everything else is you just follow the trail 21. So we did it. My daughter and I did it. A couple of things to consider. That we did not know until we got there and did it a couple times actually. The start is quite steep. It's about a 50% incline. I would say it's kind of a black diamond or maybe double black diamond in the US. So no big deal. The problem is they do not groom it, and the conditions, especially this year, were kind of warm. So there were moguls at the very start. I would say the first, let's say 40 feet, right? It was just, very tall moguls at that incline makes it kind of extra hard. So people were, who were trying it were going like we did. We went kind of around very carefully. And then, moguls went away, which was pretty cool. A bit icy, the first section, the very first section, and then you get to the second section, which is called the Mousetrap. Interesting name. And when you do have sort of the maximum incline for the Streif, which is about 85%, that's 40 degrees. Anybody who is familiar with this will figure out that this is pretty steep, right? 100% being 45 degrees. That looks like a cliff when you're at the top of it. That's the second step, right? I would just recommend you guys go easy getting in. It's super icy, no moguls, very flat. I mean, they don't groom it, right? That's why. So it's super icy. We chose our path. We took our time. And then kind of becomes very much more manageable all the way to the bottom when you hit this ski tour. Again, keep an eye for it. It was super muggly. Right? The moguls were everywhere, and it's quite steep. It's not super steep. I would guess, I couldn't find the steepness, but I would guess it's about 45 degrees. So no big deal if you're a good skier. Just the last part, and you're already tired. That's the point, right? Because it's a 2 mile long run, very difficult at the beginning. So towards the end, when you see those moguls, my legs were like really, but it's the end too. So you can, it's manageable. That's sort of the Streif, right? We did it a couple times. We were so tired afterwards that I think we only did 2 more runs that day, and we call it a day, right? We say, okay, that's fine. Let's grab some lunch. My daughter is pretty good. She of course kicked my ass, so that's great, right? That's the idea. Again, very cool experience. You have the whole Alps around you, so besides the Streif, of course. You do have some great skiing if the conditions help. Unfortunately for us this year, I think it was too warm. We were running like in the 50s to near 60 Fahrenheit, and about 12 Celsius sometimes. So most of the day. So they did a good job grooming it. The infrastructure is amazing. The gondolas, the chairs are the chairlifts are super new and fast and awesome, very comfortable compared to our US standards. So it makes, for a good week of skiing or a few days, that's what you have. The town itself is super cute. There are many places to eat. Food is great. People are nice. Again, overall, very cool experience. Recommend you guys do it. Check that box. I was not, of course, maybe we're at like 10% of the speed of those of the professional downhillers, and yet it was amazing. I do want to actually be there and watch one of the races because just for the fact that now having done it, I want to see how those guys actually do it, just straight lining and reaching speeds of 120 kilometers per hour, maybe even 150 kilometers per hour. Near 100 miles per hour. It's just amazing. And towards the end, there's this big jump right towards the finish line, and they fly about 80 meters, 300 feet, and off there. And I saw it. I was there, and I'm like, there's no way, right? So that should be really amazing. That's another thing that I would like to do about the Streif is actually be there for that week, where the whole town is a big party, and you got to watch those guys doing these amazing things. So that's it. One more that I think I mentioned in the past, and I'll be posting a couple more about paragliding, which is a new thing. Just different kind of flying for me. And the next one, it's going to take a couple months because I am heading to the Himalayas in Nepal to do my Everest tryout, I'll say, and test. But that's going to take me another 2 months. So I'm glad I posted this one, and talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.